Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Achieve Your Dream Summit, where I have the distinct privilege of interviewing some phenomenal people who are going to tell you secrets, experiences, give you wisdom from what they do, from who they are. And today, my guest is Susan Crossman. I'll tell you a little bit about her. Susan is a book coach and editor who helps coaches, energy workers, and innovators who write books that make a difference in their businesses and in their world through one-to-one and group programs that are profound, inspiring, and fun. I like the fun part. She believes a beautifully written book can be a powerful force for good in a world that is yearning for greater peace. Now, Susan, you know a little bit about me, and you know that my heart is helping people answer that all-important question, what were you born to do? And then I help them figure out what their destiny is and how to get there. Okay, so I would like to start with this aimed at you. Susan Crossman, what were you born to do?
Thank you for the question, Rick. I love that question. And, I used to think that I was born to write. I spent most of my life believing that that was what I was here to do. I was that little girl that used to climb up into the apple tree in the backyard, and I'd have a tablet of paper with me and a pen or a pencil, and I'd scribble away for hours, just enjoying the act of writing. And I never really wanted to do anything else with my life. And I grew up to go into journalism right out of university. I worked in daily newspapers, which was an awful lot of fun. I thought I was in heaven because I got to make my living as a writer. And then I ended up, of course, that didn't pay too well. And I ended up going to work in government communications where I did more writing. And it was every day I got to write stuff. And in the government communications, it was speeches and press releases and briefing reports. And it was really different from journalism, but I still really loved it. And then I ended up working at a marketing agency as a copywriter. And
Oh, wow.
oh my gosh, it got better. Like it wasn't that was the dream, it really was. I got to, and people paid me to write. So it was really, really fun for me. And of course, though, as a writer, there was that nagging little desire to write a book. Oh, all along the way. I didn't want to just write for a living. I wanted to be an author. And somewhere along the line, I started my first book. My husband at the time turned to me and said, well, you've been talking about writing a book for a really long time. And I bet there are people in your audience that have had that feeling for a long time too. You too, haha.
Yep.
So I wasn't the only one. I really wanted to write a book. And my husband turned to me and he said, well, what's stopping you? A horrifying question. And what was stopping me was me. And so I started writing that first book, and ultimately it took 11 years. I stopped and started for a long time. And I'm a writer. I was a professional writer. But writing a book was just so hard for me. But it was kind of what I thought I was born to do too. And so ultimately, my husband ended up with cancer, and he passed away. It was terrible. We had 2 little kids. We had 5 kids altogether, but 2 of them were very young. And it was really hard. And a lot of things came out of that. One of which was, oh my gosh, we can die. Like it hadn't occurred to me. I was in my 40s at the time, but death was not something I had to do too much with at that point.
Understand.
But I really didn't want to die without knowing if I could finish my book and become a published author. So, I started supporting my kids. I activated my business, my current business. I started writing. Online writing for businesses and got really busy, finished the book, and I did become an author, a published author. And that was the first of 5 books so far that I've written. But that's what I thought I was born to do, was to write. But
what was the title of your first book? What was the title?
The first one was a novel, and it was called Shades of Teal. And it was a woman's experience of a perceptively abusive relationship, and how that transpired and how she got out of it, how she became stronger through it. So it was, I did some volunteer work way back when for a women's shelter. And it was really upsetting to me that these amazing women were in the shelter with their kids, some of them, and in fear of their lives. Like, how is that possible in our world? And actually, the statistics in Canada, and I'm sorry I don't have the American statistics at hand, but one woman is murdered by her domestic partner every 5 days in this country.
Good grief.
So it's a serious social issue. And that's really part of my motivation, was to understand it better myself, but also to tell the world, hey guys, this isn't okay. And we need to maybe make some changes here. And so that's what that book was about. And that was followed by a collection of short stories. My publisher came to me and said, okay, great. Book one out of the way. Let's get going on the next one. And of course, I had no intention of writing a second book.
Of course not.
But I had a signed contract that said I would do 4 books for this publisher. So that really kickstarted my authoring career. But along the way, I got some coaching credentials. I'd been editing forever, of course, by this point, and started editing other people's books and helping other people write their books. And now my answer to your question, to go back to that question, what was I born to do? I really do believe now that I was born to help other people make the world a better place through really well-written, high-quality books, helping them write the books that will serve their readers in amazing and beautiful ways. So that's what I'm here to do.
I have a side question for you.
Sure.
Because you actually know what you were born to do, I try to get my clients, my students, if you will, to understand that once they really understand what they were born to do and what to do to get there, that it's one of the most freeing, if not the most freeing experience in their lives. How does it affect you? No, I mean, you look like you've got the world by the tail, and you probably do. Oh yeah. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Okay. So tell us a little bit more about that, about what it feels like to know what you were born to do and actually be doing that. Achieve your dream. Remember, that's the title of the summit.
It's freeing. It's exciting. It's joyful. I don't work a day in my life. I work very hard. I put in 10, 12-hour days quite often. I have a busy business. Mm-hmm. I have staff. Like I've got lots going on, and it's joyful for me. I mean, how lucky am I that I get to do exactly what I love to do? Now, I don't like the financial part, like running a business. There are parts of it I don't like, the bookkeeping part of that. Yeah, it's not my fun place. However, it's mine, and it's I don't. I know, like, it's okay. You take the lemons with the lemonade.
Sure.
But it's exciting. It's like it's a place of complete possibility. Is what my life is about. I took a month in late summer and I went to the UK for a month and worked there and visited family. My daughter lives there. My new grandson is there. But because I do what I do and I'm the captain of my own ship, I can do that. I can call my shots. Now, running a business, we all kind of think that's the dream and that's the answer to all possible problems, is to be your own boss. And it is and it isn't. The business can be challenging to run a business. That's a whole skill set on itself. Mm-hmm. But when I look at my day-to-day activities, what I immerse myself in during the day is just complete joy. And the people that I work with are changing the world. And it is so humbling to work with people who are really sincerely wanting to make our world a better place. It's just, gosh, how can we be part of a team? And so there's that thrill that goes with it too, that of believing that in me just showing up and being me and doing my joy and being joyful and writing books with other people, I'm actually making a huge difference in other people's lives, not just my clients, but the people they're here to serve. So it's amazing. I'm just so grateful that I followed my dream.
Yeah, and you're living it out. I love that. Now you
Yeah.
did answer my second question. What did you do to get there? You wrote the book. Took you
Yep.
11 years, but you wrote the book. And
Well, and I didn't give up. Like, I think that's the other
yeah,
thing, like
mhm,
it's
huge.
easy to give up on a dream because you certainly like a project like a book, for example, and I'm sure people in your audience, they have other projects that we could compare to writing a book. Like, that's not something that happens overnight.
No.
And there are a lot of obstacles that show up, and there's a lot of mind trash that shows up. And so I think we can all be forgiven for having those days when it doesn't look like it's showing up the right way, like it's not working. So it can be very discouraging, but don't give up on the dream.
Yeah.
That's part of the lesson that I've really learned is just don't give up on yourself.
Well, I like to think big. I'm one of those people. I like to think about 40 different things a day, and if one of them comes to pass, I'm a happy
Yeah.
camper. Well,
Good.
I could in a perfect world, if I had a student who didn't know what they were born to do, and they went through Strategy for Destiny, and they figured out what they were born to do, and they brought their destiny in their hands to you, and you were able to help them flesh out what's in their heart and what's in their brains in the form of a book, because storytelling is everything. Wouldn't that be cool? That would be cool.
That
Yeah.
would be so cool. And it's the stories we tell ourselves that actually make the difference in whether we fulfill on that destiny or not. Our own
That's a good
stories
point.
are really powerful. Like,
Yeah.
when we say to ourselves, yeah, I don't think I can do it.
Mhm.
Probably I can't do that. That's one kind of story. But the flip side of that story is, well, what if I can? What if I can do this?
Yeah.
What else is possible? So it's very exciting.
Real life stories about my life.
Yeah.
I mean, my business coach, Cindy Holbrook, is writing her memoirs, and it's all about dark family secrets. My goodness, I mean,
Mm.
it's going to be a movie. I know it will. It will, Cindy. Yes, it will. So, all right. So that was, and how does your business fit into your dream? Have we gotten to that yet? I don't think we've gotten to that yet.
Oh, well, yeah, my business has evolved. Thank you for the question. Yeah, when my husband passed away and I had these young kids and I had to feed us somehow, there was enough insurance money to kind of turn a corner, but and by the way, I really am a big fan of life insurance. I never thought that I would need life insurance. And it was so unexpected. My husband was 49, I think, when
Oh,
he
good
passed
grief.
away, 48 or 49. Yeah, no one expects that.
No.
And so, there was enough to at least turn a corner. But then I had kids to support. And then I had to figure out, okay, how does my business fit in with my parenting?
Mhm.
As a widowed parent, you don't have that irritating ex-spouse to come and collect the kids every other weekend. You're it 24/7. So in
Wow.
terms of running a business, then you're on homework duty and going to the doctor and all those things that go along with raising
Sure.
kids and running a business. It's been very challenging for me to figure out how that could work. So initially, I was really pretty traumatized by my change in status in life. And can I just say something too? I want to say a little word about the future, because we go through life planning our future. And then when the future doesn't pan out, you've got to shift gears. And so when I was thinking that I was going to have 100 years to write my book, and the future changed, then it was really important for me to be able to shift those gears. And so when I needed to start a business, what I've been mindful of in creating my business is that it needs to be flexible too. And so my business very much in the early days was built around accommodating my family, accommodating my kids. They had a really tough time. Their dad died, and I was not the nice mummy for a long time after that happened. I was pretty much a mess and very stressed, and I wasn't the nice mummy, but I am now. I hope they think that. But building the business, I wasn't aware of building a business to serve a dream. My dream, like my big dream of serving the planet with
Mhm,
peace on
mhm.
earth, like it was really okay. I got to make money. and I have to do it in a way that I can support my children. So at that level, the dream was, okay, I just have to support my kids. And as I became more comfortable and confident in what I had to offer and what I was doing in the world, and as I wrote more books and I got more credentials, and it evolved, my dream evolved. And so my business evolved.
That's important. That's important to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You find that too, that's
Oh, yes. So yeah,
thing?
it always evolves.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. I wasn't expecting that. We need to keep upping our dreams as we need to keep upping our game, I guess.
And not, I have found over 35 years of doing this, of working with people one-to-one. The course is new for me, but working with people one-to-one, been doing it for decades. And so many have told me that they don't know what their dream is. But when I dig, let's say that they're in their 30s or their 40s, when I dig a little deeper, they did have a dream. They did have a dream, but then that horrible word, reality, it's a terrible word. Reality kicked in, and it's like, well, I have to have a job that has good benefits and supports, whatever mouths I have to feed, even if it's just my own. And I'm just going to forget about it. And nobody's encouraging me. Well, it sounds like you encouraged yourself. You encouraged yourself and didn't give up. And that is so admirable, because there are hundreds of people that I've coached or counseled, whatever you want to call it, who they gave up. They gave up fairly early in life and thought that reality was going to be their reality. But their concept of reality was very defeatist and very negative. It doesn't sound like you allowed that.
I didn't have time. I didn't have time to give up. I knew what I wanted. I think that's it. I had a very clear vision for what I wanted my life to look like. It sure didn't look like that for a long time.
Way ahead of most people. You are way ahead.
I guess too, Rick, for a while there, I was so unhappy. There had to be something more to life than this. I just wasn't going to settle for being unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm not made that way anyway. And maybe that's it. And you know what? It would have been great to have benefits, but being self-employed, I've never had benefits and I think a lot of our society is built on these external structures of what it's supposed to look like. Yes. You're supposed to work a 40-hour week, maybe 45. You're supposed to get an hour lunch break. You're supposed to have benefits. You're supposed to get 3 weeks off a year. All the stat holidays. You're supposed to get. I haven't had a stat holiday off in who knows how long. However, I get to have the best work in the world. Like I get to work with amazing people who are writing books and making a difference in the world, and it's fun. So if you can give away your concept of what it's supposed to look like and exchange that for what the possibilities for you are, then I think that's where you're ahead of the game. Like I think if you give up with that how many letters in reality, that 5 or 6 letter word reality, if you could give that reality away and give it a new definition of
7 letters.
7 letters. Thank you. You'd be good at Scrabble.
I am.
Yeah, I bet you would be.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, it's possible. It's there. You might have to become uncomfortable to get to it.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that we become uncomfortable. And I tell people, I serve a God who didn't come to this earth to make people comfortable. No, in fact, a lot of times when we are meant to, there's always a plan. There's always a plan for every single life on this planet. Yeah. And we need to discover it. And that's what I was born to do, to help people discover that. And when they discover what they were born to do, then everything starts to fall into place. But it doesn't mean, okay, I'm going to quote a scripture. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay, but that doesn't mean that weapons aren't formed against me, does it? No, they're still formed against me. There are still rotten people out there who will attack Susan, who will attack Rick, attack our kids, and attack our way of life, attack our hearts and our minds. And we're going, oh God, what's going on? We're growing up. We're maturing. We're getting good at being in battle, because that's what this is. That's what this is. But the thing is, we win. We win when we really put our minds to it. You are a shining example of just winning, 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 winning. And I admire that. I really do.
Okay, but I haven't done it on my own. And
No.
I think I have been lovingly facilitated by my God. My higher power has always been by my side.
Yes.
And
whether we want to acknowledge him or not, which is really dumb.
The death of my husband and having 2 little kids to look after, where was God then? I was asking. And yet I look at that whole passage in my life and go, oh, I see. I would not be doing what I'm doing now and serving the world in the way that I do if that hadn't happened. And so that was a facilitation in a way, a very painful one. But, it did open my life into new areas. Not that I ever wanted that to happen or wished for it to happen. It's just, okay, that happened. Now, change trajectory. And for your listeners today too, the people listening to the telesummit here, there will have been lots of bad things that have happened to you. And I invite you to look at how that has opened up possibilities for you that you didn't see before. Painful and traumatic as all of that is, when we get to the other side of it, there is always a silver lining.
And it's not that God wants anything bad to happen to you. It's just that we're in a fallen world, and bad things happen to good people, and we grow through them. Now, I want to ask you your title, for we have gone this way and that way and that way and that way. Your title for your summit talk, shall we say? I didn't write that down. So what is it again? And can you start in on that?
Sure. Writing books to build bridges.
Great title.
Is my title. Yes, I do believe that a book is just a phenomenal bridge builder. As authors, we are building bridges, but the books themselves are bridges. And I look at kind of 3 bridges that a book is building in our worlds as authors, would-be authors. And the first one is to deeper dimensions of who we are, because in the process of writing a book, we really do need to dig deep. I'm not a write a book in a weekend kind of a person. Like there's a place for that, or write a book in a month or whatever. Like that serves a purpose, I'm sure. But people who work with me are looking to pass along important messages. And in writing that book, we have to look inside ourselves and make connections to things that have happened in our lives, like some of those bad things, perceptibly bad things that have happened. How has that served us? So that first bridge is into deeper dimensions of who we are. And then the second bridge is, of course, to our readers, that we are bridging to our readers with our book, bridging to their model of the world, their understanding. We're connecting on that bridge of how I am in the world and how I conduct my life and how you conduct your life. And what are the possibilities for you that you might not have known were out there that I can help you see? And so that's the second bridge that we build. And then the third bridge is another exciting bridge. And that third bridge is to our future selves. And who am I in 5 years? And in writing my book today, whichever book that is, I am actually sowing the seeds for a harvest in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And if I don't write that book, that harvest cannot be reaped. And so the books that we have, whether it's being on stages, bigger stages, better stages, more stages, whatever it is for you, being the author of a really good book is an entree into a whole other world for you. And so in writing that book, we're bridging to that future that we weren't going to get until we wrote the book. And you know, talk about divine assistance with all of that, and a plan for our lives. I work with people who understand there is a higher purpose for their lives on this planet, and that they come to me because that book is a piece of the puzzle for them serving in the way that they're here to serve. So it's really interesting.
Wow. Well, there's always a higher purpose, whether people want to admit it or not, or
sure
they just get angry about life and all of that. But there's a higher purpose. And when you take somebody and can shape their thoughts into, I was going to say a typewriter. That really dates me, doesn't it?
I had one too.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was really happy when IBM came out with that big typewriter where you could plug in the whiteout. You could plug that in.
The IBM Selectric.
Oh
yes,
my
the backspace.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that was it.
That helped me get through college.
Yeah, I remember I had one of those too. It was like a marvel of modern technology.
Wow. Yes, it was. Until you ran out of the whiteout.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah. So kids don't know about typewriters. They don't know about whiteout. They don't know about driving a stick shift, and they don't know how to write cursive. Yeah.
True. They're all those things are disappearing.
They are.
Or have already disappeared. No,
we're not disappearing. And
let's keep it alive, baby.
Yeah. And I would say to our viewers, to our audience who are in, say, your 20s or your 30s, reach out to Susan. I'll bet you $1 to a donut that she's willing to get on a phone call with you. I haven't asked her about this, and find out what it is that's eating you up. And I'll tell you this, that when people have come to me, when I was on staff at the megachurch for many years, when I was there, people would come to me with complaints. And they would say, this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this needs to be fixed, and this needs to be fixed. And I would say, okay, well then fix it. It's part of the plan. Part of your plan is to take care of things, to make things better, to serve people. And when you can make it better, make it better. And it's, in other words, quit complaining and get busy. Yeah. And there's a lot of good has come out of that over the years. So.
Complaining doesn't do a thing. Complaining fixes nothing.
Now tell us about, I know you have a gift for our viewers, our audience. That's always a fun part. Please explain it.
I would love to do that. Thank you very much. I'm giving a big gift.
Wow.
Actually, because it's you, Rick, and because I love what you're doing. And I really support what you're doing. I am offering everyone in your audience, in our audience today, a chance to take my 6-week Kickstart book writing formula program for free. And that normally I sell that for $1,000. So it's a big gift, but it helps people start writing a book. My market research showed that one of the biggest challenges people have when they want to write a book is they have no clue how to start.
Right.
And so this 6-week program is all about getting started. And so we look at your vision, we look at your why, we look at what's that vision for you as an author, we look at structure. How do you structure a book? We go deep dive into who is your audience and what's your message. We deal with time. Nobody has time to write a book. Ask a widowed mother of 3 kids, 2 of them still at home, who has a disabled elderly mother in their life and is running a business, how they have time to write a book. Oh, I've got some answers for you. So we look at, we don't get time to write a book, we create time to write a book. So that's a whole module on itself. And then we talk about editing, publishing, and marketing your book. So it's a very, very robust program. There is homework, but I'm making that available for free to your audience. Do you need information on how to access that? Do you need me to go over that?
We'll have it.
Got that.
We'll have it for our audience. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get that printed up, and I do have. That is absolutely fabulous. And I'm going to go through it.
Oh, good. I'd love to have you.
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't done anything with my book. It's an ebook. I haven't done anything with the physical book. I have the ebook, the audio book, and the video lessons. Okay. And
Oh,
I know I need to do something with the book. Maybe I need a nonprofit or something like that so I can
yeah.
give it away. But we'll talk about that because
Okay,
you've
sounds good.
really got my attention. And my second book, we'll work on that one too. So
Awesome. Thank.
I do have, this is the optional question, okay? Because we're running a little bit low on time here. When it
Okay.
comes to living your best life, what advice do you, Susan Crossman, have for our viewers, our audience? Your best life.
Your best life. Oh,
Not a
make
killer.
friends. Yeah, that's a really good one. I would say make friends with being uncomfortable. We kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Oh.
Embrace being uncomfortable. I've been a lot uncomfortable. And now whenever I get uncomfortable, I go, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen now. Because I recognize that part of being uncomfortable is actually almost like birthing pains,
It's
like it's part
growing.
of
Yes.
growing pains. Yeah, it's
Yes.
it's part of my evolution is okay, if I'm uncomfortable, it's something shifting. And that's something to get really excited about. And especially writing a book is a really uncomfortable experience for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's unfamiliar because they've never done it before. And so it's uncomfortable because especially with my clients, they are used to being really good at a lot of things. And then they sit down to write a book and they've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a skill set in place to support them. They don't have a neural network in place to support them.
Yeah.
And they get kind of upset because they're not really great at this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of, it's uncomfortable. I guess that's really the only word. And so we need to get beyond that and get some support. Obviously, it always helps, but it's getting beyond that uncomfortable place to the place of competency, because on the other side of unfamiliar and uncomfortable is competency. If we embrace the uncomfortable, if we can be uncomfortable long enough to get some skills, get some comfort around what we're doing, learn what we need to do, get some assistance, then we can start ticking along like nobody's business. So that's what I would say. Achieving our dreams really requires us to shift our concept of who we are, who we think we are. And that's about being uncomfortable with whatever it is that we're going through right now. And it's a really exciting thing. If you can master being uncomfortable, then you've got the keys to the kingdom as far as I'm concerned.
Well, when I want to see when people come to me and they finally are so elated that they've discovered what their destiny is. They've gone through their action plan and they know that they know that they know. And then what if I were to mention you? What if I were to say, okay, does this sound like a book to you? Well, yeah. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to my friend, Susan Crossman. Would that make sense? I think that would make an awful lot of sense. Yeah, it would be one high, another high. It would be. It would. Yeah.
It really would. Oh
yeah.
Gosh. And then your clients get to inspire more people with their story.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, this has been absolutely. I've been using absolutely way too much. My kids would strike me dead. Okay. Because I'm the grammar police guy.
Yay! Every family needs one of those.
Yes, they
I'm so glad to hear that.
My son is following in my shoes. Yes, so we have our pet peeves, but I won't go into that. Anyway, your ability to overcome, your ability to take what has been thrown at you, what has splattered all over your face, and make it into something that works. And this, okay. You have, which I strive for this when I'm counseling and when I'm coaching, is to see the twinkle in the eye. It's more than a smile. It's the twinkle in the eye that I've got this. I've got this. This is me. This is what I was born to do. And it's all over you, young lady. Just
good. I'm so glad.
I'm just delighted that you allowed this interview. And I know that we're going to affect a lot of people in very positive ways. So until we talk again, let's sign off. Thank you again. And thank all of you for listening. We will have we will have Susan's extremely generous gift posted. We'll have other information on her. So just think about the possibilities. Think about the possibilities of what you were born to do and telling other people about it. Wouldn't that be fun? All right. Until next time, thank you.